And we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Consistency Conversation. On today's episode, all the way from a champion mindset, I have my homeboy EJ. EJ, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, Mr. Garfield? Uncle Junior, how you doing, boss?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, this is my man EJ. We met back in probably 2018 or so. We started coaching on the same team. We ain't gonna get too much into that part of it. You know, we're gonna spin off a little bit, and I'm gonna have EJ start off by telling us a little bit about himself. After I give a little small introduction, he is a coach, a trainer, a teacher. He specializes in the offensive line. And for me, when I first met him, he was the first offensive line coach that I've ever met. And so by me and him coaching on the same team, I thought that it was pretty interesting. We instantly had a connection, and we've been stayed in contact ever since. One of his big, huge things is the champion mindset. Got a shirt on today, rocking it. That's my boy right there. He got the head on. He has a YouTube channel. He has all the things going on. Please like and subscribe to his YouTube channel. EJ, tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
Hey, man. What's up, man? I am EJ, and I am the creator of EJ's Gym, a guide to elevate mindset. And like you said, that champion mindset shirt, the champion mindset, it stems from attitude, confidence, and overall, you mix that together, and that's how you get your mindset. And that's just me. That's everything about me and everything that I do, and I live by that.
Yeah, man, I like that. Because over here, the big thing over here is all about being consistency. And I know that being consistent, you have to have the right mindset in order to stay in there, work out every single day, and different things like that. What do you think about consistency and how it relates to champion mindset?
Well, consistency is basically how you build a champion mindset. And I always say, consistency, in order to build a skill, you have to be consistent on it every day, every day. And, repetition is the mother of skill. So if you think about what that means, is that you have to be consistent in order to build something. And in order to gain confidence, that's how you gain confidence. You do something every day. Like we talked about, working out. You feel that first day, you might be a little sore. Then that second day, third day, then you feel yourself. That 10th day, that 10th day, the 10th month, you feel a little stronger, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to be consistent. So that's the basis of building the building blocks to building that confidence. For that champion mindset.
Yeah, man, I like it. Dude, one thing I don't want to roll past, and I know we briefly talked about it before we went live, was you being an offensive line coach. Like I said, you were the first offensive line coach that I met. And so, man, just tell me all about being the offensive line coach, man, because I have no idea other than what I have talked to you about as far as being an offensive line coach and what I've seen from you on your social media.
Well, as you know, the offensive line is, you can't play football. That is the core of an offense, is the five guys up front. And I take pride in offensive line. My story, of course, I was an undersized guy. I wasn't the best athlete, let's say that, but I was very consistent. I like that word, very consistent at working out and wanting to be the best. And I don't know, I fell in love with the position, man, because it was so technical. It wasn't about necessarily, now, of course, you want the biggest and strongest guy there at that position, but it wasn't always about that, because I learned how to play with my size. I'm barely 5'11", and I think I played at 205 pounds in high school at offensive line. I played on a really, 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 really good team, and I was a strong guy for my size, but for that position, just like you said, that was just very undersized. So I had to learn how to use, my body And I just kind of fell in love with the techniques of, because I always enjoyed wrestling too. So I enjoyed the techniques of just, pushing a guy, being able to move a guy. And I was a smaller guy, so most of the guys that I was going against were bigger than me. So I kind of got a rush doing that. And playing down in Miami, I had the opportunity to play against a lot of guys who actually play at the highest level, like who played in the NFL. Okay. I blocked guys like Elvis Dumerville, who has the sack record in the NCAA or played for the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I mean? So it felt good being able to hold my own, even though, the game, as you evolve, they want bigger guys to be able to play that position. So I just fell in love with the techniques, man. So as a coach, that's what I try to do. I always think about like, man, if I was this size, how would I be able to handle this body? So the thing is, I was undersized, so I can teach the bigger guys how to use their technique and how to use their leverage and how to use their size to make blocks, because I wasn't that big. So I know the technique part of things.
Yeah, when I look at, this is basically from someone from an ignorant mindset when it comes to offensive line. I just thought you get, some big guys up there and you tell them to block left and block right, and that's it. And I didn't really understand until, like I said, I started coaching that 1 year in high school, all of the different things that goes into, blocking schemes and pulling and leverage, making calls, the leverage. I'm just like, man, like I had no idea. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was a running back, wide receiver. I played those positions. I played those skill positions. And every once in a while, they would allow me on the scout team defensive line. Being in high school, being 5'4", probably at the time, 110 pounds soaking wet. It's like I get on defensive line and I shoot past them offensive line like it was nothing, and they just get mad at me. You know what I mean? They didn't like that. You know what I mean? But other than that, that's all I had, man. So how did you end up like? How do people, especially undersized like you, end up on the offensive line? Like usually guys for your size, at that size, like middle linebacker or just linebacker, heck, 5'11", 205, you could be a wide receiver. You know what I mean? So how in the world did you even end up in the position to be on the offensive line?
Man, I have to be completely honest with you, Uncle Junior. I am from Miami, Florida, played at Miami, and I was blessed with the opportunity to play on a team full of athletes. Everybody was good. And from that transition from my freshman year into my sophomore year, that line was a big offensive line. We had a guy by the name of Big Jonathan Colon. He got a scholarship to University of Florida. Okay. And there was a few other guys on that team who were pretty big, but they all graduated and it was like a few guys left. So when I went to try out for the team, I wanted to play defensive end. And we were stacked at that position. And Coach Ponce, he's the offensive coordinator right now at State. He was my coach at high school. And he was like, come over to the offensive line and blah, blah, blah. And he was actually my first offensive line coach. And he taught me the game from like a quarterback's perspective. He taught me that I learned, of course, eventually I learned more of the technical part years after. He did a good job trying to teach me that part, but him teaching me the game from an offensive coordinator's perspective, like a quarterback's perspective, kind of set that foundation for me to understand the game. So he was really the reason why I had confidence in playing that position. So I don't know, he asked me to play the position. We didn't have enough guys, and they was trying to do whatever to, put the line together for that year, for that spring ball. I don't know, I actually started doing well at the position, even though being undersized. And like I told you, that first jamboree, I think, was against Miami Jackson and Elvis Dumerville. He was a big prospect. Yeah. And I didn't know any better, man. I was a kid. I was a freshman. Really, going into my sophomore year. but we have spring ball in Miami, similar to what they do in college. And I played that spring, not knowing who was in front of me. I just did everything coach told me to do in practice. You know what I mean? And I actually did well.
Oh.
And so going into the season, they were kind of excited about, me playing the position and stuff like that after that jamboree, because the person I actually blocked was a big time player. And I know what the coach asked me to do. Consistency.
Yeah, man. I like that, man. So what when you so for how does that work out as far as being consistent when you're training now? Because I know you train youth, especially the offensive line and coaching and different things like that. So how does consistency play a part in that as far as when you're coaching those skills? Because one of the things you talked about was leverage. And I know what you mean just on a little bit, just from watching the coaches out there and how they tell them to move and step and stuff like this. And I was like, and I watched some of the drills in the pregame, when they're on the field and stuff. And I, a lot of time when I see that, I think about you, and I'm like, you know what I mean. So how does consistency work as far as getting those skills to getting those guys, to be eventually be elite athletes or be able to play at the next level and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, first off, of course, the athlete would have to be consistent at working out. And the things that I like to kind of teaching guys is teaching them how to step in, like hip flexibility, being consistent at like putting that into the workout every time the kids work out, because the whole thing with offensive line, just like you said, leverage, you want to get under a guy's pad. So if you can help the kid with flexibility in his hips, then more than likely he can get in the stance and stay in the stance. And when he can fire out that stance and be explosive in that stance. So hip flexibility is a big deal, in foot placement, understanding how to step and not taking too much of a big step, taking a 6-inch step or bringing that step down. So that you have to be consistent at working at those. For me, I mean, all coaches have their, way of doing things. And I don't think no way is the wrong way. But I think being consistent at teaching hip flexibility, foot placement, hand placement, that works together. Eyes, see, hit, see your target, see where you're hitting, and being able to move into that spot. You know what I mean? Be consistent teaching the kid that, and just being able to progress, because I like to work with the kids when they're really young, so all the way from little league, middle school, all the way to high school, even through college. I had a few kids. I had a session the other day. I had a kid text me, he's at Barton College. I had a few kids at Barton College, and he said he wanted to train, man. And I love it because I've watched them grow from a little kid, so I know everything about their game. So I love that, and being that person that was consistent in their life, since I can help them progress as an athlete.
All right. So one thing I want to get into right now is diet and or nutrition. So offensive line dudes, right? Them some big dudes. You know what I mean? I'm looking at 6'3" up, 300 up. And these dudes is moving, you know what I mean? So I know for the average people who watch trainers and how people eat, a lot of times, most of the time you see people train, they're either trying to lose weight or trying to get muscle. You know what I mean? But I kind of feel like when it comes to offensive line and the whole training, the diet, all of that stuff is probably totally different. So what can you share when it comes to like diet, exercise, nutrition, just working out for a big guy, especially for like, maybe a young kid or either somebody that's in high school? Because like I said, the nutrition and training is a lot different.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough, man, because
I know it's a lot to unpack.
It is a lot to unpack because it all depends on the athlete and their lifestyle. And like the weight, of course, is weight management. I never want to, even as a coach, I would never suggest to just eat anything. You know what I mean? It's a such thing as good nutrients, good calories. You know what I mean? And I don't consume meat or dairy. So that's
okay,
why
vegan in the
that's
house. Shout out to all the vegans.
so that's why that subject is very, very, very touchy to me, because some guys do need to eat more to gain weight. Like my he played ball at FIU and he was a smaller lineman. And I think he ended up, yes.
How tall was he?
Like 6'2", 6'3". And but he ended up playing, I think at the most, probably maybe 3. He would fluctuate between 285 and I think 305. And he just said he couldn't handle keeping that weight on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it definitely depends on the athlete, the person, you know, your body structure. You know, most of the guys that are 6'8", they can probably put on a little more than a guy that was 6'2" or 6'1". You know what I mean? That's a little more compact, because those big guys have to move, and usually those are the guys on the outside. You know what I mean? But I personally don't have experience with being that big. I think at the most I played at was maybe 260, and I was pushing it. Just like what you said, my natural size was more so as a linebacker and fullback. That was more my natural position. So 260 was really pushing it my senior year.
That's
way too heavy.
That was 55 pounds from high school. I don't even know how you get that big. You know what I mean? How you gain 60 pounds? Like, look, I ain't never been 200 pounds in my life. The max I've been was I was like 190. I'm 5'6". I got like 189. But I was in the gym all the time, and I had a 28-inch waist though. Like I was benching almost 280. Like, well, my max was 280. Like this was 2014 or so. And man, like things was good. But like now I walk around about 160 and I'm fine. And now I remember like carrying all that weight, eating all that food all the time. That stuff sucked, man. Like I'm so done with all this stuff. I'm so glad I'm done with all of that, man. So I couldn't imagine. Cause like even now, like sometimes I watch NFL games and stuff, and I hear them talk about diet, and I heard them talk about how like back in the day, the linemen, I didn't hear Mike Golick talk about, back in the day, just eat. Yeah. And then now, they eat, but it's a whole lot more nutrient based diet and what they're consuming. 325, 330, 340 pound dude ain't just marshmallows and fluffernutter. You know what I mean?
No.
Them dudes is eating.
No. Yeah, they're eating. And like I said, I believe it's a such thing as good calorie. If you can use plants to get your calories, I guarantee you when you're out on that field, you'll perform a little bit better, or you'll feel a little better than eating a cheeseburger at McDonald's. But not knocking anybody, but I believe there's a such thing as good nutrients. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, let's talk about good nutrients, because you don't consume dairy, and you don't eat meat. So we have some vegan watchers. So I've never tried the vegan diet, and I eat dairy, but my dairy intake is very, very minimal. And here's why. And I remember I posted it one time, and I remember you said facts about it. And it was like, it was something to the effect that, like we're like the only species who drink milk as an adult, and we're the only species who drink milk from another species. And it's like we have such a huge problem of people being lactose intolerant. And like for me, I don't know, I've never done any research on that, but I'm just like, that just can't be coincidence. I'm like, maybe we really shouldn't be partaking in this stuff. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on just the dairy and being vegan in general?
I just honestly, man, if you just think about it from the standpoint of just like you mentioned, why is the cow producing? You can answer that question.
For me, I would say the cow.
Just in general. Oh, I thought you said for you. I was gonna say no, not for you.
Oh no, I answered the question though. Since you threw it out there, I answered it for the audience. I think, for me, if I was to answer why does a cow produce milk, is so their baby calf can grow up to a big strong cow.
Exactly. So why we and just
Right.
think about that, how do just say American society
Mm-hmm.
look, I don't want to say everybody look like a cat
Yeah.
bigger than usual, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
We are
that
bigger
stuff
now.
is yeah. I mean, so that milk was for the calf, not for us. So why are
Yeah.
we consuming it? So
Yeah.
when did that mind trick happen? That's my
Mm. I think it happened with the dairy industry back in the day and the cornflakes and stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of things come back to money. So I
mm,
would say probably some sort of financial push back in the day. I've watched some
mm,
watched some specials and different things on Netflix and stuff like that, and
right.
they kind of talk about some of the things that spearheaded that whole milk and dairy push and different things like that. It all kind of sort of came back to some sort of financial profit for somebody.
Right.
So were you vegan in college?
So
No.
I probably turned vegan probably was like I want to say like 6 years ago.
Okay.
And it was just off of purely just like what you're doing right now, the research
Mm-hmm.
and learning about the human body and learning about my body and trying something different. You know what I mean? And understanding that like I don't know, animals, they have hearts. Like if you just think about this, like
Right.
if you poke an animal, that animal can sense you and know that you're there. I don't want to eat
Mm-hmm.
that thing. I just
Yeah.
I'm not a super animal lover, but
Yeah.
I know I love my life. So I don't want
Mm-hmm.
nobody chopping me up and eating me up.
Yeah.
So I'm just let the animal do its thing.
Hey, I feel you,
Peace.
man. Hey, let him do his
Let
thing.
him do his thing. Just like
So,
we want to do our thing on earth, man. I mean, we are the stronger being as far as the mind, but I don't
mm-hmm.
think it's our place to just mess up the earth, chop down trees and kill animals and do certain things like that. I just have a different mindset when it comes to that stuff nowadays.
Yeah. Well, speaking of mindset, let's go into a little bit about your champion mindset. And I know you mentioned it at the beginning. EJ's Gym, like and subscribe. But let's go into a little bit about the champion mindset. I know we've talked about it before. We've had conversations, but for everyone who's watching who doesn't necessarily know about the champion mindset, walk us through a little bit. If walk us through just a little bit about it, just a little snapshot of it, or you can walk us through it as much of it as you want, because at the end of the day, it's all you. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
You know what I mean? I want to see what it's all about again.
Again,
Yeah, and
well,
then and then here's a plug. One
right.
day he's gonna have a book that come out. It's gonna be all or a course or something, right? We're gonna decide that right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it come out too, dude. I mean, you have a whole course about a champion mindset, bro. You do that.
Well, the whole champion mindset is all about, like I mentioned before, it's a little bit of confidence, it's a little bit of attitude, and that's how you basically, come up with your mindset. But the whole thing is just trusting yourself, being able to look within and trusting the decisions that you're making. Because in life we all have to, make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those decisions don't work out the way that we always want them to. And sometimes you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with every outcome in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and you have to continue to move forward. And that's what the whole champion mindset is about. It's just continuing to be consistent, continue
Yeah.
to just push along whatever goals and ideas that you have. Because everybody goes through an obstacle in life. I like to say that on my show. We all go through that obstacle, that roller coaster of life.
Yep.
So why not have a guide to elevate your mindset? And we
Yeah.
go through those obstacles, but it's just really staying true to yourself and
Yeah.
understanding that the goals that you have, you can accomplish them even if you're having a bad day. even if you're having a bad month, some people call it that, but everything, you have to remember, everything come in moments and spurts. Nothing lasts forever. It's never going to rain 24/7. The next day the sun has to come out. And that's what the champion mindset is all about. Just being consistent, being consistent with who you are, being consistent with what's in your heart, and bringing that out to the world and being confident enough to bring it out to the world. And that's basically your personality, which is your mindset.
Yeah. You talked about how, you're only in it for just a temporary. And I think that's true. And that's why a lot of people roller coaster through their diets, their workouts, and a lot of them never really meet their goals. They're not understanding, like, look, if you work out for an hour a day, you're only in it for 1 hour a day. The other 23 hours you're off. You know what I mean? But I think sometimes people can't really wrap their mind around, the 1 hour, you know what I mean? Or the 45 minutes, because it's going to hurt and it's going to suck and they're going to struggle. But it's only for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, bro. You got the rest of the day to hurt, to heal, to eat, all of these things. Yes. You know what I mean? And I will say, I have developed, somewhat of a champion mindset. I toot my own horn a little bit. And it came from me, like you said earlier, and I kind of put it together from being consistent, like working out over and over and over, even though I didn't want to. Like I've been doing 100 burpees. I haven't done them yet today, but 8 days in a row, and it has been hard. The first couple of days it was easy, and I know that one thing I'm doing, I'm trying to train my mind. I'm trying to, up the discipline. My discipline has fell off a little bit. So now to help build it up some, I am doing something that I don't want to do. And I would tell you, bro, it's hard, man. It's hard, bro.
Ooh, I love that. Man, and one thing I was going to say, and I have it right here with the mindset, because I have everything that I have written down right here.
Yeah, man.
But you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I like what you said, because I always talk about rewiring your mindset. Ooh, and that's basically what I'm looking at, this caption right here. And I say, talk about if you had the opportunity to change the way you view yourself, would you? Yes or no? And I always say the world is your mirror. So it's up to you. The world reflects your true inner deep thoughts about yourself. What you believe in your heart and mind projects to the world. The man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both usually right. I put that from Will Smith. He said that. Confucius said that. So that's everything. It's all right here, man. So if you program yourself to do something, you will do it. If you program yourself to not do something, you will not do it. So that's a choice.
Yeah. Well, I heard people say, "Oh man, I just can't get up in the morning." You know what I mean?
You start your day by using those bad words, man.
There you go.
Those are bad words, man. You never put that in the air, man.
Absolutely.
Don't put those words in the air, man. You project. My thing is with the whole champion mindset, you project what you want. Don't project what you don't want. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And see, that's why, like me, I'm not big into snoozing. Right. And here's why. I feel like as soon as you hit the snooze button, you've already lost once for the day. As far as the discipline, like you already said the night before, look, I'm getting up at 4:00 and I'm going to work out. Right.
True.
4:00. Beep, 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 beep. Oh man, it's 4:00. I'm going back to bed. I'm gonna hit this snooze button. And I'm gonna get up in 10 minutes. 10 minutes roll by. Beep, 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 beep. You know what? I'm gonna hit this snooze button again. I'm getting up at 4:20. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, bro, you didn't hit the snooze button again for the third time. You didn't already lost 3 times already. You know what I mean? So I look at, people say whatever they want to about a snooze button, but I look at snooze button as starting your day in defeat. You know what I mean? People say, I couldn't get up. I'm like, you was up. You woke up. You said, Alexa, um cut off the alarm or whatever it is, or you hit your watch and you checked it, you made a conscious decision to hit the snooze button and not get up. You know what I mean? And like I said, for me, I don't snooze because I feel like I'm already starting the day off in the hole. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, I think, and just like what you said, man, and I'm bringing it back to the whole consistency and the champion mindset. It's all about being self-aware and
Ooh, yeah.
and understanding your behaviors and understanding like the words that come out your mouth. Eventually, you take action through your behavior. So if you can be self-aware and understand the words and control the words that are coming out of your mouth, understand your next behavior because you projected that into the world and then you just went into it. You know what I mean? So pay attention to the things that you say. I rather project things that I want in my life. Like I will work out this morning. I will wake up tomorrow morning and work out at 6 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whatever your schedule is. Project that instead of just like you said, man, I'm gonna get the snooze button. Yeah. No. You have to be self-aware, man. That's how you gain that champion mindset. You got to understand your behaviors, everything that you do to get the results in your day or to not get the results in your day from what you want. It's all on you.
Yeah, it's all relative. You say, or to not get the results. Man, dude, self-awareness. Self-awareness is hard. You know what I mean? Because self-awareness.
I think it's hard.
Well, it's because I will say for a lot of people, I think I'm doing pretty well in the self-awareness department. But for a lot of people, self-awareness is like it's having to admit your faults. You know what I mean? Self-awareness, you can have positive too, but usually when we talk about it in this form, it's usually in a negative way. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have a self-awareness, like if you're not aware that eating, what you're eating is causing harm to your body, you can't really make those changes. True. You know what I mean?
True.
And there are other things that's about self-awareness. Like if you don't know something about yourself, like if you don't know that you get, I don't even know, man. I don't even know where I'm gonna go. My brain just reset, man. But it is what it is.
No, but I think the analogy of the food thing is a perfect one because you have some households. I remember I met a guy who I sell cologne. I sell cologne on the side. And I was, bringing a cologne to a guy who purchased on eBay. He was local, and we were having a conversation. He was a bigger guy, and he explained, because he asked me about, I was in my work. He asked me about, working, and he says, he never really, did the workout thing, and growing up, all his parents did was feed him McDonald's, so he knows nothing about what a good diet is. So he's not, just because of his environment, aware or conscious enough, or even if he became self-aware, he would really have a hard time, changing his lifestyle because of what he knows. And his parents brought him up in a fast food, soda, and they ate that every day. And I think he ended up doing, I forget what you call that, when you do the little bypass thing.
Did they cut something with the stomach?
Something with the stomach. I think it's
okay.
Yeah. And he ended up losing weight. That's why he was asking about, working out, because he was starting to gain the weight again. And I think that's why it's very, very important and to understand yourself, because if you don't really change your mind, you're not going to change your lifestyle. I don't care what type of surgeries you have. You might look different for a moment, but if your mind is the same, you'll go back to the same lifestyle. Yeah. But going back to what you were saying, it was no way he could be aware of what a good diet was because his parents just fed him McDonald's his whole life.
Yeah, man, that's something, man. And that's, you know, and that's why, like, I talk, you know, a lot of people will push back when I talk about, you know, motivation in a negative way. And I think motivation is good, but I was like, you know, motivation is just like, I like motivation for what it is, but I don't think that the basis of you working out should be motivation, because I feel like motivation gets you to the gym, but dedication, consistency, that's what's going to keep you there. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people who, if they ain't motivated, they ain't going. So how do you feel, you know, as far as, you know, motivation and, you know, having a champion mindset and consistency, you know, can you bring all those three together, or, you know what I mean? Let's see what you got over there. I know you got it.
All right. So you said motivation.
Well, first, consistency, motivation, consistency, and mindset.
In relation to the gym or anything?
In relation to just fitness overall. And actually, you know, in fitness and lifestyle. Yeah, just overall.
Well,
mainly I kind of want to capture how you feel about, you know, where you kind of rank motivation in, and as far as all of that, and as far as being able to get to a champion mindset with motivation.
I mean, motivation is good, but I can sit here like and look at like a million like motivational videos or whatever. It might make me feel good at the moment, but I really like the word consistency in combination with having that never quit mindset, because the whole thing, sometimes you're not gonna feel motivated, and even when you don't feel motivated, you still need to get up and go work.
Absolutely.
Because when you don't feel right, that's where you have that mindset of just finishing and completing your goals. You got to have that consistent mindset.
That
consistency is what's going to win you through, because once you start the workout, then you'll be like, okay, it's not that bad. But if you need to be motivated to work out, you probably, I mean, I don't want to say it to each his own, but for me, no, I have to get up and do it even when I don't feel like it.
And that's
I have to be more consistent, you know, than more so motivated. You know what I mean?
And that's why, like, people are like, oh man, I'm just not motivated. I'm like, you're not gonna always be motivated. And they like, oh, well, you know, you get up and you work hard. I'm like, do you think I really like getting up at 4:00 every morning? No. But I'm like, but here's the thing. Ooh, check this out. This is gonna come back to some self-awareness. I know how I am, EJ. Bro, I know, look, if I have to work out in the evening, I'm gonna try to set appointments, you know, something gonna come up, or I'm gonna procrastinate, and I might even have some anxiety throughout the day because I gotta work out. So for me, I get more bang for my buck having an argument with myself at 4:00 in the morning and then being done by 5:30 and can give the workout, you know, a middle finger. Cause I'm like, I got you. Like, I won. Like, I won. You know what I mean?
I was the only one that debate with myself. Like, you're getting up. You're gonna do it. Oh well, you gotta do it.
Dude, I argue with myself sometimes in the morning. Dude, we be like, really, like, these jokers in here, they be about ready to fight. Cause I'm like, I ain't getting up. And then there's somebody be like, oh man, you old punk, man, you need to get on up. And it's like, man, I need to get up. And it's like, okay, well, how am I going to post something today? You know what I mean? About being consistent if I ain't even working out. So then it comes back down to being, having enough, what's the word, about yourself, pride in yourself. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I have a quote that I put on the champion mindset that I want to read. If you don't,
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
You want to hear it?
I do.
It said, no man has a chance to enjoy permanent success until he begins to look in the mirror for all the real cause of all his mistakes.
Got to be in the mirror first, right? That's where it starts. Man in the mirror.
I said that's why the world is your mirror. The world will project, right? So if you let yourself if you let that side of your brain win that battle and you hit that snooze button, losing is your fault.
Yeah.
You can't blame anybody else. Just like you said, oh, I wasn't motivated. Well, that's your fault.
It's your fault.
You can't blame anybody. Why did everybody try to look around like
no.
It's your fault.
And that's where the self-awareness come back into.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to be able to, you can't blame nobody. A lot of us, you know, we are where we are based off our choices and our decisions. You know what I mean? Good, bad, or indifferent. Where we are. You know what I mean? It's my fault while I'm here. It's my fault if, you know, I've gained too much weight. It's my fault if I've lost too much weight. You know what I mean? A lot of times we don't like to say that, and we don't like to, we don't like to hold people accountable. And maybe that's not our position, you know what I mean, to hold people accountable. But at the same time, you know, I'm not a big believer in accepting or condoning when people say things like that either. You know what I mean? When people say, oh, I couldn't do it, or they make excuses for why they are not where they want to be. You know? And, you know, I like to tell them at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, it's based off the decisions that you made, you know? So if you don't like the decisions, you don't like the outcome, you got to change the decisions and you got to change the choices. And it's not always easy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So what would you tell somebody who's kind of struggling, you know, with building, you know, what would be a good starting point for someone as they are maybe starting off working out or fitness and, you know, just trying to start developing a champion mindset? Like day one, you know, somebody just no self-awareness, so no confidence or nothing. And they just looking to start building a more champion mindset, like you, EJ. What would you tell them to start?
I would tell them start with the most powerful word in do. Do is the word. Just do. Just do. Just do. Every day, just do. If you want to work out, do. Of course, I wouldn't. I mean, of course, somebody just starting, you don't want to work out every single day, but you have a regimen. Just do it. Just
do it.
Routine. Don't think twice. Don't start thinking about it until you're in that 4th and 5th month. Then you can go ahead and start the second.
Be
in a group. You know what I mean? More than likely, you'll probably not, you know, stop what you're doing. Then you'll probably start seeing some results, some muscles, some muscle tone here and there, some weight dropping off. You know, you'll feel better about yourself. So what I would say to anybody, and that's just with a goal or anything, you just understand in life, you'll learn through the experience. You'll learn through the experience of work. You'll learn through the experience of building a business. I know we were talking about entrepreneurship. Learn through that experience. So the best thing is just to do.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, you know, like I said, just starting off, just do something. You know, it's cool sometimes. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with getting a personal trainer. I think sometimes, you know, for some people, having a personal trainer is a good thing. I also think it's a good thing, like you said, to just get out there and do something. I mean, something is better than nothing. Even if you don't know what to do, just walk. Especially if you're, you know, you're overweight, just start by just walking. You know, and you know, with mindset, you know, and I think, you know, what rolls back into the champion mindset is the doing part. You know, eventually after you do, and then you do again, and then you do again, you start developing that consistency, and your mind, you know, start developing those first stages of that champion mindset.
Right.
And I need to get one of those hats.
Hey man, I have them, man. They're available definitely on my website, man. Got one here. I have some back there. Definitely hats, shirts, all of that. But another thing I want people is sometimes it's the whole self-awareness piece. Going back to self-awareness, you have to put life in perspective. You know, I'm coming from a perspective of like being an athlete. I played in college and stuff. So I have a background working out. So it's not necessarily hard for me to get in that group. I've been doing it since I was a kid. And so if it's somebody that's basically new to working out, and just say you're in your 20s or your 30s or whatever, you have to understand it took time for you to get out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
That same amount of time, if you're 20, 30 years old, it was 30 years of bad habits. 30 years of bad habits. Just put it in perspective. So you have to, in a sense, rewire your mindset and understand that's that self-awareness piece, that I have to change all of these bad habits so this won't happen overnight. Meaning, I'm not going to the gym that first day and losing all my weight and gaining all that muscle mass. Not happening. Not happening. It took 30 years to develop those bad habits. So it's going to take some time to rewire your mindset about working out and lifestyle. So put everything that you're doing in perspective, but still just do. Just go out there. You know, and then eventually the results will come with time, with consistency over time.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that was so important. You know what I mean? Because it takes time. And like you said, 30 years, 20 years of eating unhealthy, not doing this, not doing that, not working out, of those bad habits, those are hard to break. And sometimes you're not even aware of some of those negative habits that you may have, or that, you may just not know yourself. Like for me, if I didn't know myself, I would still be struggling with working out in the afternoon. You know what I mean? But because I eventually went and dug deep and I learned about myself, I'm just like, bruh, it ain't for me. You can't do it. So just quit. I gave up. Like I don't even schedule to do workout in the evening. I just took it out. You know what I mean? I just took it out of my schedule. I took it out of my life, just working out in the afternoon.
That mind of yours.
Yeah, I had to have a mindset shift. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is, in 20 years in the military, I got up early in the morning and I worked out. So now, since I retired, why was I trying to shift, you know what I mean, and change and do something that my body hadn't been used to doing? So I end up just giving in to it and just get up at 4:00 and just roll with it, man. That's what I do now. It ain't always
funny that
easy.
You say that. That's dope. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that it's funny that you said that, because I'm in a similar, mindset as you. I don't have to get up before 30.
Yeah.
When I was teaching, I'm not gonna lie, because of the schedule, I had to get up at 4.
Yeah.
Because I realized, just like you, I'm like, once I get home, I'm done. Like, and to even fight myself to even try to work out, it's not gonna happen. So if I get up early enough, go ahead and get my pump in, get my workout in, the rest of the day I'm good. But that was because we were conditioned as athletes, especially in college. We had morning workouts. You know what I mean? 4:30 in the morning, we had to get up, we had to be in the gym, we had to run, we had to lift or whatever. So just like you, my body was programmed to work out at that time. So just like you, why fight it? So I just get up in the morning. That's the first thing I do is work out, and then I can have my day.
Man, I like it, man. That is what's up. I believe that's the only way to do it. And like I said, I know there are other ways of doing it, but when I talk to people, actually, you know what? Let's switch and let's talk about time. Let's talk about time, right? A lot of people say, you know what? I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to meal prep. You know what I mean? I don't have time to do this or do that. So what do you say to all of the people out there that say they do not have time? I mean, because I don't know about you, but I got 24 hours in the day. Maybe you got more. Do you got more than 24 hours?
We all got the same 24 hours.
We all got the same 24 hours. All right. I want to hear it.
It's all about that whole self-awareness. So if you don't have time for maybe 45 minutes to an hour, that's how long it takes me to work out.
Yep.
But you have time to sit and watch your favorite show, your priorities are jacked up. I'm my mindset, because this is your body. You can take care of it, and then you can go be a couch potato if you choose to be. You know what I mean? But if you have time to just just sit around, how don't you have time to work out? For me, I don't use it. I don't understand. Like, it makes no sense. You have an hour in a day free time, you have an hour to work out.
Yeah. People say they don't have time, and I'll be like, did you go to the bathroom today? And they be like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Did you go to sleep last night? They was like, yeah. Did you eat?
Yeah.
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 When was the last time you checked the hours on your phone to see how much time you've been on your phone? You know what I mean? So what you do is you go back and look at your day. Start writing your if you budget your day, if you write down your 24 hours, what you did for the last 24 hours, I guarantee you'll find an hour. Guarantee it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I had to do, especially when I got out, because when I was in the military, everything was so routine. You know what I mean? For 20 years, so routine. Same thing. You get up in the morning, go do PT, you come home, everything was the same. So when I got out, my lifestyle changed. I didn't have to be at work as early, different things like that. So I had to learn and build kind of sort of my own routine and structure. You know what I mean? So when it comes to routines and structures and stuff like that, is that all you feel like is all part of having a champion mindset?
I believe so. I believe if you can build a routine for yourself that you're gonna stick to, a regiment, then it's easier to build that consistency muscle if you can make that a muscle. Because the more you do it, the more your body will just be in that routine, and it won't be necessarily that you have to kind of, in a sense, battle yourself. You'll just kind of be on autopilot doing it. So yeah, building a routine helps. I say with the consistency, just like what you mentioned too, just like what you said, breaking down or budgeting your day, writing down, writing down the things that you'll do by the hour or whatever the case may be is very, very, very helpful. I think that's a good way to project, your day, like the things that you want to do. So I think it's a good thing to get in that routine of writing down. Some people it might be 7 p.m. work.
Yeah.
So get into that routine, and it'll help your mind build that consistency. I'm big on writing things down too. I think.
Yeah.
Writing it down and projecting positive things into your life.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, all day and then twice on Sunday. Hey man, before we wrap up, I want to do two things. I want to do a quick word association with you. All right. So I got 10 words written down. A lot of it came based off of the conversation that we had today. I was taking notes. So I'm going to give you a word, and what I want you to do is to respond with one word. All right. You can take your time to think about it, but I want a one word response. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is routine. Yeah, here we go. Let's do it. It's almost like being on the hot seat. Routine is the first word. Did you say it?
Oh, I said, you didn't hear me? Can you hear me? I said consistency. I said consistency.
Okay.
I said it so fast. That's why I was laughing.
Okay. Consistency.
Consistency. Yeah.
All right.
Let me make sure you can hear me. Okay.
All right. I got you. College.
Ooh, learning.
Entrepreneurship.
Learning too.
Learning?
The first thing. Learning, yes.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this, but politics.
Fake.
I like that answer. There's no wrong answers on this show. All day, man. All day. I really like that answer. 4 a.m.
Ooh, wake up.
Fitness. Lifestyle. Like it. Consistency. Lifestyle again.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, consistency.
Football.
Man, my world, man. I don't know. That's the first thing that popped up in my mind.
Your world.
My world. Like
okay.
I learned life through football. I learned people skills. I learned structure, routine, fitness. That's why I said the world is like my foundation. Learning everything that I'm doing right.
All because of football. Man, that's amazing. All right, we got two more. Time.
Money was the first thing that popped in my mind. I promise.
Hey, there ain't no wrong with that. Time is money. Time is money. And the last but not least, mindset.
No, I mean the first thing, I guess, because I created the champion mindset. The champion was the first thing that came to mind. But if I could, like I mentioned before, confidence and if I can put it all together.
The confidence and the attitude. Yeah.
It's an attitude.
I like that, man. Hey, before we wrap up, man, I want to give you a few minutes to say anything, plug your show, your YouTube channel, your content, man, anything that you want to say to anybody that may be watching as far as being consistent, as far as champion mindset, anything you want to leave the people with about yourself before we wrap up, man, please share it.
Well, I'm a typical human like everybody else. I just like to say, you know, I studied sociology in school and did a lot of, you know, work in the mental health field. And I feel like, you know, through behaviors, I understand human beings and how we function. And this is the reason why, you know, I was fascinated with, you know, creating something like the and the champion mindset is your confidence, it's your ability to basically believe in yourself. And yes, just like Uncle Junior mentioned, I do have a YouTube channel. It's EJ Gym. You can check out my website. It's www.ejsgym.com. And all I'm about is, just like you said, that word is motivating, trying to push people to the next level of understanding self, because I always feel like if you can understand self, then it's easier to navigate yourself in this world. Not saying that things won't get hard. Things get hard and challenging for everyone. All I'm saying is don't quit and don't stop. Just keep going. You know your goals. You just keep doing everything that you have to do. Just like me and Garfield mentioned, become self-aware, understand who you are so you can understand how to use the tools and the gifts that you have, and how to use the tools and the tools in your environment, meaning the people around you. Because once you understand self, like I said, it's a little bit easier to navigate the world. So that's where I come in. I'm just here to help people understand, because as I understand myself, I just put the same information out for other people to understand themselves. You know what I mean? So that's basically what I'm all about. And like I said, we all go through that roller coaster of life. So why not have a guide to elevate?
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, stay consistent and stay fit. We are out.